Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Yamuna Tiravanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Varadhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Yamuna Tiravanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada Jai Jai Prabhupada 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 Jai Prabhupada Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahansa Parivrajikacharya Ashtottara Satashi Srimad Divine Grace Abhay Charanaravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahansa Parivrajikacharya Ashtottara Satashi Srimad His Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Samaveta Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Srimad Bhagavatam Mahapurana Ki Srila Prabhupada Ki Nitai Gaur Premanande Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanang Namaskritya Naranchaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasa Tato Jayang Mudire. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th Canto. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th Canto, Chapter 1, Chapter entitled The Curse upon the Yadu Dynasty. Text 3. Bhubhara Raja Pritana Yadubhi Nirasya Gupte Swabahu Virachinta Yada Prameyaha Manye Bane Nanugato Pyagatam Hi Bhara Yad Yadavam Kulamaho Vishayam Masaste Bhubhara Raja Pritana Yadubhi Nirasya Gupte Swabahu Virachinta Yada Prameyaha Manye Bane Nanugato Pyagatam Hi Bhara Yad Yadavam Kulamaho Avishayam Aste Bhubhara Raja Pritana Yadubhi Nirasya Gupte Swabahu Virachinta Yada Prameyaha Manye Bane Nanugato Pyagatam Hi Bhara Yad Yadavam Kulamaho Vishayam Aste Bhubhara Raja Pritana Yadubhi Nirasya Gupte Swabahu Virachinta Yada Prameyaha Manye Banoy Nanugato Pyagatam Hi Bhara Yad Yadavam Kulamaho Abhishayamaste
Bhubhara Raja Pritana Yadubhi Nirasya
Bhubhara Raja Pritana Yadubhi Nirasya Gupte Swabahu Virachinta Yada Prameyaha Manye Bane Nanugato Pyagatam Hi Bhara Yad Yadavam Kulamaho Abhishayamaste
Bhubhara Raja Pritana Yadubhi Nirasya
Bhubhara Raja Pritana Yadubhi Nirasya Gupte Swabahu Virachinta Yada Prameyaha Manye Bane Nanugato Pyagatam Hi Bhara Yad Yadavam Kulamaho Abhishayamaste. Vaishnavis. Bhubhararajapritana yaduvinirasya Gupte svabahubirachintayada prameyah Manye nanu nanugato yagatam hibhara Yad yadavam kulamaho avisayamaste. Word to word translation. Translation and purport by disciples of His Divine Grace SB Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Bhubhara, existing as the burden of the earth. Raja, of the kings. Pritanaha, the armies. Yaduvihi, by the Yadus. Nirashya, eliminating. Gupte, protected. Swabahubhi, by his own arms. Achintaya, he considered. Aprameyaha, the unfathomable Lord. Manne, I think. Avane, of the earth. Nanu, one may say. Gataha, it is gone. Api, but. Agatam, it is not gone. He, indeed. Bharam, the burden. Yat, because. Yadavam, of the Yadus. Kulam, the dynasty. Aho, Avishayam, intolerable. Aste, remains. Translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead used the Yadu dynasty, which was protected by his own arms, to eliminate the kings who with their armies had been the burden of this earth. Then the unfathomable Lord thought to himself, although some may say that the earth's burden is now gone, in my opinion, it is not yet gone, because there still remains the Yadava dynasty itself, whose strength is unbearable for the earth. Purport. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur has remarked in this regard that although ordinary people might think that the Lord had now removed the burden of the earth by killing the demons, re-establishing dharma, and so on, Lord Shri Krishna himself could detect there was further danger from the irreligious activities of his own family members who were acting improperly. It is stated in Srimad Bhagavatam that a just king will refuse to punish his own enemy if his enemy is innocent, but will punish his own son if his son actually deserves punishment. Thus, although in the eyes of the world the members of the Lord's own dynasty are always worshipable, Lord Krishna detected that by their intimate association with him, some members of the Yadu dynasty had become indifferent to his will. Since such whimsical members of the Yadu dynasty could act freely, being relatives of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they would surely cause great misfortune for the world. And the foolish person would take such whimsical behavior to the will of Krishna. Thus the Lord, whose desires are inconceivable, began to consider the need to annihilate the indifferent, contemptuous members of the Yadu family. From the viewpoint of ordinary persons, all the demons had been killed by Supreme Lord's pastimes in Dwaraka and Mathura, as well as by the battle of Kurukshetra, and the earth was now free of its burden. Nevertheless, to free the earth from the remaining burden of his own puffed up family members, Lord Krishna transferred them away from the earth by causing a fratricidal quarrel among them. In this way, he prepared for his own disappearance from the earth. Sridhar Swami has pointed out that the word Bahubi by his arms is used in plural rather than dual to indicate that the Lord caused the destruction of Yadu dynasty in his four-handed form. Great. Very good. The original form of Krishna as Govinda is two-armed, but it was by the plenary portion of the four-handed Narayan that the Lord killed all the demons on the earth and ultimately removed the burdensome members of his own family. It may be asked, if certain members of the Yadu family had become indifferent to the will of the Lord, why didn't they oppose the Lord in his plan to remove them from the earth? Therefore, the word aprameyaha is used, which indicates that it is impossible for anyone, even the Lord's own family members, to understand his will completely. Srila Jiva Goswami has given another reason for the destruction of Yadu dynasty. He emphasizes that the activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead should never be taken to be ordinary material activities, nor are the Lord's associates ordinary persons. Although Lord Krishna apparently incarnates within this world for some time and then goes away, it should be understood that the Supreme Lord is eternally situated with his entourage in his various abodes in the spiritual skies such as Sri Gokul, Mathura and Dwaraka. The members of Yadu dynasty are eternal associates of the Lord, and therefore they cannot bear to be separated from the Lord. Since Krishna was preparing to give up his earthly pastimes, if he were to leave the Yadu dynasty on the earth, they would surely become so disturbed by his absence that in their highly agitated state of mind, they would trample and destroy the earth. Therefore, Krishna arranged the disappearance of Yadu dynasty prior to his own disappearance. Srila Jiva Goswami concludes that ultimately the members of Yadu dynasty are never to be considered irreligious. Vaishnavacharyas have mentioned that the story of disappearance of Yadu dynasty is especially meant to help the conditioned souls achieve liberation from the bondage of materialistic life. Within the three worlds, they were none as powerful and opulent as Yadu dynasty. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the possessor of unlimited opulences, beauty, strength, knowledge, fame and so on. And the members of Yadu dynasty, being the personal associates of the Lord, were also endowed with inconceivable opulences. Therefore, when we see how a fratricidal war suddenly deprived the members of Yadu dynasty of all their earthly possession and even their lives, we can understand that there is no permanent position within this material world. In other words, although the members of the Yadu dynasty are eternal associates of the Lord and were immediately transferred to another planet where the Lord was appearing, their sudden disappearance through the fratricidal war is meant to impress upon the conditioned souls the temporary nature of this world. Therefore, the apparent indifference or enmity of certain members of Yadu dynasty towards Krishna should not be taken to be actually religion on their part. The entire situation was arranged by Lord Krishna to teach a lesson to the conditioned souls. In this connection, Srila Jiva Goswami has cited several verses from Bhagavatam to prove that the members of Yadu dynasty achieved their exalted birth in the Lord's own family by innumerable pious activities and by complete absorption in the thought of Lord Krishna. In fact, it is said that in sleeping, sitting, walking, speaking, they were unable to remember their own selves because they were simply thinking of Krishna. In the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam 1.15.33, Srila Prabhupada has commented as follows on the disappearance of Yadu dynasty. The setting of sun does not mean the end of the sun. It means that the sun is out of our sight. Similarly, the end of the mission of the Lord on a particular planet or universe only means that he is out of our sight. The end of Yadu dynasty also doesn't mean that it is annihilated. It disappears along with the Lord out of our sight. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Nama Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Brinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam karoti vachalam Pangum langhayate girim Yat kripa tamaham bande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Shri Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Mishwaram. Hare Krishna. So this is one of the most bewildering stories of Krishna's pastimes post Ras Leela. That how could Krishna's own family disappear in such, miserable way in terms of ordinary vision. And our acharyas have written, if you see all other remaining other verses, as big purports in explaining about the real reason of Krishna's disappearance in this regard, in this way. So in this verse, as in the purport also it is mentioned, the word aprameya is very significant. And we will discuss about this today, because there is so much of things about will of the Lord. So we will discuss about will of the Lord and how the will of the Lord is aprameya. And we will also see whether only will of the Lord is aprameya or also other things are aprameya. We see that scientists are trying to design artificial intelligence. And recently, one person said to me, now artificial intelligence is an old word now. Now they are trying to design artificial general intelligence, AGI. I said, what is AGI? It will behave in such a way that it will become generic. Like all of us, our intelligence are very generic. The door is open, so immediately we are thinking, now darshan will also open. So this is general intelligence. So scientists are trying to find out artificial general intelligence, artificial thinking machine, artificial feeling machine. Now there is talk that we should now create the new thing called feelings, artificial feeling machine. But we must understand that the thinking and feeling is based on the will, the ichcha. And this is something the scientist or cannot be designed from matter, because the ichcha is something that distinguishes the conscious living entities or the jivas or the Supreme Lord from the matter. No matter how much ever you program the matter, you cannot invest ichcha into it, right? Like this Vyasasan will not have ichcha. Right? Or we can program maybe thinking, we can program maybe feelings, but we cannot program ichcha because it's free. It's free will. And that's how aprameya is Ichcha. It is very difficult to understand what Ichcha will be there in every living entity. At which point of time? Yes? Like, imagine a 56 item Raj Bhog coming in front of the plate of each one of you. Now, each one of you will have a aprameya Ichcha, means very inconceivable Ichcha. Someone would like to pick up the rasgulla, someone would pick up the gulab jamun, someone will pick up the chutney, someone will pick up the rice. So the Ichcha is aprameya actually. It is very difficult to fathom. Aprameya means, prameya means measurable. Aprameya means immeasurable. We cannot measure, we cannot fathom what is going to happen. Right? So, that's how the Ichcha is called sometimes in Srimad Bhagavatam in scriptures as Yadrichaya. No one knows what is going to happen. And that's how we see here, it is mentioned by Srila Jiva Goswami that the Yadu dynasty devotees, the Yadavas, would feel separation from the Lord and they would behave in different ways, and that's why the Lord took away. But we see that different Jai Shri Sri Nitai Gauranga ki Srila Prabhupada ki. We see that the different devotees, the associates of the Lord, they behave so differently in different circumstances. To give an example, all of you hear this example. To give an example, we read in Chaitanya Bhagavat that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he went to teach in Bangladesh. And when Lord went to teach in Bangladesh, it was actually after marriage. Generally, after marriage, a person becomes very responsible in terms of job and thinking about how to get money and everything. So the Lord, after marriage with Lakshmi Priya, thinks about, now I think I should earn something. In between, whenever there would be requirement, Lord would get some 3-4 gold coins and give Sachi Mata. Use it. And Sachi Mata would be feeling from where these gold coins are coming, If we get gold coins like that, we'll have a temple very soon. So, but Sachi Mata would be thinking, is my Nimai stealing or is my Nimai getting somewhere and all? But when Nimai got married to Lakshmi Priya, there has to be a constant flow of money, salary. And that's how Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu plans to go to Bangladesh. And in Bangladesh, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu teaches and all. And here Lakshmi Priya Devi, Vrindavan Das Thakur says, interestingly, just of the separation of the Lord from Navadvip to Bangladesh, she is not able to bear the separation, she passes away. And then when Lord returns, everyone is so happy, bringing gifts for the Lord. And Lord is also giving them gifts, what he has brought from East Bengal. But no one is discussing about Lakshmi Priya because Lord will feel so bad about it. And finally the Lord understands and Lord consoles Sachi Devi, saying that a lady who passes before the husband is considered very auspicious and pious. Our Lakshmi Priya was very auspicious. So please understand that this is the work of Supreme Will, Aprameya. And then the Lord does like this. And in contrast, Vishnu Priya, Lord gets married to Vishnu Priya. And Vishnu Priya Devi was just 10 years old or 12 years old when Lord was married. And just in 3-4 years, the Lord takes sannyas. From age of 16, after taking of sannyas by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, almost till age of 90, almost for 80 years, Vishnu Priya experiences the pain of separation of the Lord. So here is Lakshmi Priya, who could not bear the separation of the Lord. And here is Vishnu Priya, who just suffered so much in pain in separation that every day by chanting one mantra of Hare Krishna, Vishnu Priya Devi would put 1 grain of rice aside and cook at the end of the day whatever grains are aside, and that would be her food for the next 80 years. That is how we see that how the living entities will, even the pure devotees, they have their unique, distinct will which is different than anyone else. Is it that Vishnu Priya was having less love than Lakshmi Priya that he survived? Is it that Lakshmi Priya was more feeling love for the Lord and that's why she passed away? How a living entity will express his or her love to Krishna is aprameyaha. Very difficult to understand. Sometimes we think that, Krishna expands as Balaram. But Krishna expands as Balaram, but Krishna doesn't expand as Balaram and makes Balaram a robot. Krishna loves the Pandavas and Balaram loves Duryodhana. Hare Krishna. Aprameya. How can someone love Duryodhana? Krishna wants Subhadra to get married to Arjuna and Balaram wants Subhadra to get married with Duryodhana. What inspired Balaram to think like this? Aprameya, the will of the Lord. So we need to understand that when there is will, it is completely free. And we will discuss today how there are progressive levels of Ichha of a living entity. The lowest level, as all of you know, is the Ichha which is inimical to the Lord. We hear that the definition of a Asura is one who doesn't want to follow the will of the Lord or who is against the will of the Lord. Right? Asurastat viparayat. And we read in Bhagavatam that the Lord said, "Oh, the demons, the Daityas, you go and hold the tail of Basuki." I said, we will not hold the tail, we will hold the head. So the demons are completely opposite to the will of the Lord. They are inimical to the will of the Lord. But as a living entity grows ahead, he becomes indifferent to the will of the Lord. So little higher stage, not as Asura, is the conditioned living entities as we see in earthly planet. They're indifferent to the will of the Lord. Recently I was in Elita and one person saw me, said, "Swami ji, आप सबको इधर दिखाई देते हैं, आप कहाँ से आए हुए हैं?" बोला, "हम इधर ही रहते हैं, हमारा ISKCON न्यू टाउन है." "नहीं, इधर ISKCON है?" I said, "अरे आपके घर से दिखता होगा ISKCON, अभी तक देखा नहीं, कैसे ISKCON है इधर? Here ISKCON is there. Where ISKCON is?" I said, "Just go to your flat. From the balcony you can see our compound." So this is epitome of indifference. इतना बड़ा जन्माष्टमी होता है, बैनर लगता है, इतना भीड़ होता है, जाम हो जाता है, पुलिस आ जा रहा है. And people are so indifferent in their own words. And I was thinking that time that we should have a temple much higher than our Elita and DLF. Then वो दिखाई देगा. वो पूरा डिफरेंस दिखाई देगा. वो किसका घर है? हमारे ठाकुर जी का घर है ये. So this is how, though it is better than inimical, those better than Asuras. These people are not Asuras, but they are so indifferent to the will of the Lord. They just don't want to think, भगवान है, कौन है, कैसा है, जहां पे भी है, मैं अपने काम में व्यस्त हूं. I have no time, They will say, I have seen in the morning, they say that they don't have time to chant Hare Krishna. Everyone is with a dog in the morning. कृष्ण को प्रेम करने के लिए समय नहीं, कुकुर को इतना प्रेम करते हैं. Everyone visit the dog and all kinds of dogs. Some dogs look so horrible. I can't understand how can when someone not fall in love with Nitai Gauranga and fall in love with this horrible. You have seen some dogs with flat face and nose like this and all. And the lady is telling, "Oh, my cute dog." I said, "What cute dog? It's horrible." Love is blind. Love is blind. I don't know who said love is blind, but love is blind. So this is the next progressive level, that is called indifference to the will of the Lord. The Lord is doing His pastimes and we will do our pastimes in our own flats. And then comes a person who is indifferent, being curious like this, oh, something is happening. He comes to the temple and he is caught by some devotee who makes him read Bhagavad Gita. So Bhagavad Gita begins our alignment with the will of the Lord. And that's why the message of Bhagavad Gita is Nimitta Matram Bhavasabhyasachen, becoming an instrument of the Lord. A person who was inimical to the will of the Lord, slowly through evolution of consciousness, becomes indifferent to the will of the Lord. He follows the laws of nature, but he is not concerned about the Lord. And by reading Bhagavad Gita, we see that how Arjuna, as a conditioned soul, who was so indifferent to the will of the Lord, he slowly, by learning Bhagavad Gita, becomes and tries to become Karishye Vachanam Tava. I will follow your will of the Lord. Oh my Lord, I will follow your will. And this is the stage of a sadhaka. The sadhaka's desire is that let me become an instrument in the hands of the Lord. Let me surrender my free will to the Lord. And this is what is detachment. Here, in this purport as we read, that this factory-schedule war is meant to create a feeling of detachment in the conditioned soul. What is the detachment? The detachment is, anyway, सब कुछ भगवान की इच्छा से होगा, तो मैं क्यों इच्छा करूं अलग से? Let me just align my ichcha according to ichcha of the Lord, then I'll be always successful. Yes? How many of us want to be successful in life? All of us. All of us want to be successful in life. And through Bhagavad Gita, we understand, Krishna says that, Arjuna, if you don't kill Duryodhana, Karna and Bhisma, anyway I'm going to kill them. If you align your will to my will, you'll be successful. Jitva Satru Bhungshva Rajyam. You enjoy the kingdom by becoming my instrument. So the living entity in the third stage, in a very higher stage, wants to become an instrument of the will of the Lord and tries to align his will to the supreme will of the Lord, and in that experiences happiness. As a person goes ahead, he doesn't want to become instrument of the Lord, he intervenes in the will of the Lord for the happiness of the Lord. We see how the Lord doesn't want to get binded, but Yasoda says, I will bind you, O my Lord. And then the Lord surrenders his will to the will of his devotees. So in the beginning of devotional service, the devotee surrenders his will to the will of the Lord. And then as a devotee progresses in the path and develops love for the God, the Lord is ready to surrender his will. The Lord detaches himself from his own attachment to his own will and gets bound by the love of devotees. And we see so many examples in our scriptures about it. we see Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanting to go to Vrindavan after sannyas. Running and running and running. And Lord Nityanand Prabhu wanted Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to not go Vrindavan and bring him to Santipur, because when Lord took sannyas, he left, everyone was so unhappy, so miserable. But Nityananda sends a message to Advaita Acharya through Chandrasekhar Acharya that I will bring the Lord back to Santipur. Please prepare everything. And Advaita Acharya dances, telling, Nityananda is my friend. Though they will always quarrel. There was always loving enmity between Advaita and Nityananda. But Advaita danced that this is a friend, he is a friend. And Nityananda Prabhu, he intervened and changed the will of the Lord and brought the Lord to Santipur, tricked the Lord and brought him back to Santipur. In this way, the Lord surrendered his will to the will of Nityananda. And then Lord is also no less, Lord Chaitanya. When Nityananda comes to Jagannath Puri, the Lord says, get married. Nityananda wanted to be an avadut. And the Lord forced Nityananda to get married. Right? To think for a sannyasi to get married. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructed Nityananda Prabhu to get married. Later on in Jagannath Puri, we see Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu seeking so much of permission. Please give me permission to go to Vrindavan. Please give me permission to go to Vrindavan. And the devotees say, oh, the Sehra is coming, after the Sehra you go. And then the Sehra will come and go and say, no, now it is very cold, you will get chilling cold in Vrindavan. Don't go in the cold. When the cold goes away, Dol will come, Dol you can go. And then the Dol will come, Dol Yatra in Jagannath Puri is so special. After Dol you can go. Oh, but after Dol it is Vaishakh, and Vaishakh is too hot in Vrindavan. Don't go, just after Vaishakh you can go. 2 years Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could not go to Vrindavan because the devotees were not giving him permission to go to Vrindavan. So in this way, the Lord becomes a puppet to the will of his devotees, and devotees know how to intervene and make the Lord his puppet. So in this way, the third stage of will is intervening in the will of the Lord and trying to create amazing pleasure or enjoyment to the Lord. But the highest stage or higher stage than that is when every living entity and the Lord, they both are thinking how to innovate special pastimes for the pleasure of the Lord. And we see this in Vrindavan. We see how that one day the Gopas were feeling hungry. And someone may think, how can in Vrindavan you can feel hungry? Vrindavan is free from hunger, thirst, everything. And the Gopas were feeling hungry. And our acharyas say that the Gopas were feeling hungry because they were thinking that Krishna would be feeling hungry. But how could Gopas know that the Krishna is feeling hungry? And because Gopas were feeling hungry and Krishna has to feel hunger, so he felt hungry. And then because Gopas and Krishna, they were feeling hungry, Krishna thought, let me now do some pastime and satisfy my hunger by going and sending these Gopas to get some prasadam from the ladies, the Brahmana ladies. So in this way, in Vrindavan Dham, there is excitement because everyone exercises the free will. Just imagine, in this temple hall, if all of you have free will, and if everyone exercises free will in this temple hall, Someone is chanting Hare Krishna. Someone is chanting Jai Radha Madhav. Someone is giving class here. Someone is not attending the class. Someone is sitting on the fan. Someone is going and standing there. So there is chaos in Vrindavan because everyone wants to follow their own will, and in that chaos there is excitement. And because everyone has one purpose to serve the Lord. So the highest stage of following the will of the Lord is to have your own free will to serve the Lord. Here we see in this story that though it is a chaotic situation, can we imagine what a chaotic situation is this? That Yadus and Yadavas are fighting and then Krishna has willed that they should disappear like this. It's a very chaotic situation. But just imagine from a different point of view. What an excitement to end the story like this and then join the Lord in a different setting, as Jiva Goswami is telling, that they all disappeared because of, that they want to go and join another pastime. So the highest stage is that everyone wants to follow a particular script and no one knows what script he is going to follow in the pastime. We see that, I'll tell you some stories so that you understand what it is. I'll tell you some stories by Rupa Goswami in next 10 minutes so that you understand this principle. So Rupa Goswami says a very wonderful story where one day Krishna sends a wonderful letter, and in that letter Krishna says that send Radharani to Gauri Tirtha. And all the gopis and everyone, they get the message that Srimati Radharani and all the gopis have to go to Gauri Tirtha. And it was in the script of Yogamaya that Radharani has to go to Gauri Tirtha. Now beyond the script, one of the spy of the other wing of gopis got the message and they sent Chandravali to Gauri Tirtha before Radharani could reach Gauri Tirtha. And Krishna is thinking that everyone is following the script. And Krishna is the best follower of the script. He is the person who spoke Bhagavad Gita. And he reached Gauri Tirtha along with Madhumangal and Subal and everything. And there is Chandravali. And Krishna is thinking, oh, how this lady has come. I sent a different message. And then this Vrinda and all the Yogamaya Devi, Paurnamasi, they are thinking, I think there is some problem in our following of the script. And then there is a monkey. The monkey is a special monkey of Radharani. Who knows Radharani's monkey's name? It's Kakati. So this monkey is thinking that anyway now no one is following the script. Why I should also follow the script? This monkey, when Chandravali and Krishna they are meeting, this monkey goes and takes some butter from Lalita Devi, and taking that butter, this monkey goes and tells to grandmother of Chandravali that, do you know from where this butter has come? I have got this butter which is being distributed in Gauri Tirtha, and Chandravali is distributing because he is meeting Krishna. And this grandmother becomes so angry. She comes with all the entourage to catch Chandravali. And they all reach, And Chandravali, Padma and Saibya and everyone were thinking, how she came? It was not in our script. And the monkey is looking at Padma and showing his teeth, telling, I broke the script. And then the Padma says to Lalita, Lalita, we will also break the script. And then all of them go away. And then Radharani comes and everything. And then Padma sends one of the small bird of, assistant bird. Just like there are parrots, assistant of Brinda. So there are also birds in assistant of Padma. So she sends one of the bird and informs Jatila, do you know what is happening in Gauri Tirtha? And then Jatila comes along with Abhimanyu, Kutila and all other Braj villagers and everything. Come, we will show what Radhika is doing in Gauri Tirtha. And then Brinda and Yogamaya, they are thinking, if no one is following script, Krishna is thinking, why I should follow the script? I will also break the script. And then Radharani is following the script. So the script said what Brinda had written, that Radharani is supposed to become angry. And then Radharani becomes very, very angry, very, very angry. And then Krishna goes away. And when Krishna goes away, then Krishna says that no one is following the script. Brinda, dress me like a beautiful girl, Nikunja Vidya. And then Krishna is dressed as a girl and enters Gauri Tirtha. And when Krishna enters Gauri Tirtha, here comes Jatila and Kutila, who are also not following the script. And then Radharani and Krishna are discussing. And immediately when Krishna is sitting and Radharani is sitting, Krishna stands up. And he says, what happens? Why did you stand up? And immediately Krishna becomes a very golden colored girl. And immediately Radharani falls flat on Krishna, offering obeisances, Gauri, 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 Gauri. And then Jatila comes and sees, oh, Gauri Devi has appeared. And Krishna in the form of Gauri says to Jatila, which is not written in script, that Jatila, do you have no trust on Radhika? Jatila says, I have full trust on Radhika. And Brinda Devi is making recording. And do you know that your son Abhimanyu was supposed to die much before? Said, oh, I was not knowing. It is all because of your daughter-in-law's tapasya in Gauri Tirtha. Because I am pleased by your daughter-in-law. Your son is still alive. This is my instruction, that you must send your daughter-in-law every day to Gauri Tirtha. And Jatila says, and Abhimanyu says to Jatila, Mother, I was telling, my Radhika's pious austerities are actually saving me from all my ill health and everything. So we should not go to Mathura. We should stay in Vrindavan. And every day you should send Radhika to Gauri Tirtha. So Paurnamasi, Brinda Devi, they keep on writing everyday scripts just to ensure by the end of the day, none of their scripts are followed. And while in the chaos of not following any script, where even the director also doesn't know the script, there is excitement. So we must understand that in Sri Vrindavan Dham, the will of the Lord is aprameya. In the pastimes of the Lord, as is mentioned in this pastime, specific to say that how the Lord is doing this fratricidal work. And the most important thing we will read now. Okay. Just wait, where it is. Yes. It may be asked, if certain members of Yadu family had become indifferent to the will of the Lord, why didn't they oppose the Lord in his plan to remove them from the earth? Therefore, the word aprameya is used. So the Lord and their devotees, they are in complete resonance, in synchronization of their desires. If the Lord's devotees in Vrindavan, in Vaikuntha or in Dwaraka, they desire something, the Lord immediately synchronizes his desire according to the desire of the devotees. And if the Lord is desiring something, the living entity immediately synchronizes his desires. And even if no one follows any of the script that is being mentioned, there is constant excitement at every moment, because no one knows what is going to happen. Whether this time the Yadu dynasty disappeared through a fratricidal war, but while they were getting disappeared, they know that next time when we appear in some other earthly planet, we do not know what is going to happen. So that excitement creates so much of fun in Krishna's pastimes, and everyone is free to execute his will, and everyone's will come together. It's just like in the material world, if there is no law and order, there will be chaos. If everyone is asked to perform his own will in temple, I don't know what will happen to the temple. But in spiritual world, that opportunity, that facility is given for every living entity to follow their own will. And within that chaos, there is chaos of excitement. And similarly, I see also in our new town, we have so many scripts. We have been making so many meetings after meetings. What is manifesting? We really don't know. There is so much of excitement. Initially, we thought we'll manifest something here. Now we are thinking of manifesting something somewhere. So there is always excitement. And a devotee, more and more, when he wants to resonate with the will of the Lord, to give pleasure to the Lord, then he will be able to become instrument of the aprameya will of the Lord. So we must understand that the beginning stage is aligning our will to the will of the Lord. And as we do that, we will also get an opportunity to intervene the will of the Lord. And then we'll get an opportunity to enter the spiritual world where the will of the devotees and will of the Lord becomes completely synchronized to create such excitement and fun. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Will of the Lord ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam Mahapurana ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Sri Nitai Gauranga ki jai.